core value number one for me is lead by example. You know, like if we're all running businesses or whatever, like if we're not about it, how are we going to expect the people below us to believe in us and do all the stuff? And the only reason I've been getting through a lot of stuff that I've been through the last few years is because the people around me believe in me.
We're back with part 2 of our interview with Michael Burns, real estate investor, entrepreneur, and the definition of betting on yourself. In this half, we go even deeper into risk, investing, mentorship, and the power of building right relationships.
If you're in a leadership role, man, you can't expect people that everyone's going to follow from top down. Like you can see somebody and you'll know what their culture is, what their, like you could just see it all by the way that they carry themselves, hold themselves, conduct themselves. Because especially if you're in a leadership or an ownership role, like that goes downhill. Culture is more important than anything, something I learned, but starts with your personal culture.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Let's talk about what would you, if you could go back and look at stuff, what would you change? And I'll tell you, because sometimes you've made fun of me for being frugal or something, or flying regular class or something like this, because the truth is that's
called
why I haven't moved. That's why I haven't done it. And I like my house and all these things. But to me, it's like, because of what happened to me in 2007, 8, I want to have what you were saying. I like to have, it's like almost like there's so many stacks of it. It would just, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I would have to literally just start buying Ferraris and doing dumb shit. I need that. But I'm still doing lots of cool stuff with my family and everything, but I don't get frivolous.
Right.
And it seems like sometimes when people catch a wave, they start getting frivolous. This is exactly what I did in 2006. I lived under my means all the time till 2004. Then you make a couple deals, you get 60, 80, and you just start getting stupid.
Yeah.
And you think it'll never end.
Yep.
But it's going to end. So, like, what would you do differently if you could go back 4 or 5 years ago and say, hey, this is what's going to happen? What would you do?
Like if I knew what the market was going to do?
Maybe, I guess not even if you knew, but if you see the same thing
prepare?
happening again, what would you do?
So if I could take the lessons that I know now and I could go back to then, I wouldn't have done anything differently, because I wasn't doing stupid shit. Like I could have paid for the Ferrari 3 times over cash if I wanted to. So like I've always lived well below my means. Like I don't even know what my monthly budget is, because if I'm worried about how much it costs to get by in a month, like I'm thinking about the wrong shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, but what I would do if I would go back, I did a lot of second position hard money loans, and I would not have done that. And I wouldn't have bet on other I'm a fucking winner, dude. So like I was investing on deals, and the deals look good on paper, and the market was flying, and I'm seeing 4 points, 15%, you know, like just stupid returns. I borrow money at 10%, 12%. So I'm putting my money out into higher, you know, returns, or hopeful.
That's a perfect thing. So this has happened to you, it's happened to me, and happened to you. When you look at your losses, how many of them were really when you bet on yourself?
None.
It's like none. And
Not
when
when
I
it's on
bet on
yourself.
another person, because that's what I did in 2007, 8. Since it was going so well for me, I'm like, oh, let me create like some soldiers. Oh, you could do it. And then they start fucking it up.
Yeah.
And now when you get a little stress on your own stuff, you can't withstand it. That's why I don't do that now.
Yeah.
Why I say I'm just going to, one by one, we buy a business. I know these people, buy one, go to the next.
But it's when you lost control, because I don't want our business owners to sit here and think, well, this is why I don't scale and this is why I stay owner operator, because that's crap as well. It's when you lose control, when you throw your money to someone on a deal and they're the ones fully out, like it's supposedly passive, right? You do these passive investments, no control involved. Those are the ones where not all of them, but that's where I saw my losses, because I might almost see a loss when I bet on myself, but I was always able to pull it out because I could just change my activities and help that.
And even like, dude, if I'm gonna lose money, I would rather me lose it than some other asshole lose it, not doing whatever. But there's a couple things through that I learned too, is, you know, and I've seen this with you, and it's the way that you operate when you're in your business. You're betting on a person, a jockey, an operator. That's the only thing. I mean, obviously you're looking at the model, but you're betting on the person, the operator. And I was throwing money in on deals, you know, and So that was one of the things too, is like, in the future, like I still invest and I'm down to do that, and I want to do that. And, if you guys are looking for, someone with experience or money or whatever outside of these guys, I'd love to see those opportunities. But not really understanding who the operator is, because a deal is one thing, but like who's running it and who's operating it. And there's a couple pieces to that too. Like, number one, what's their actual capacity to do the function itself, right? But then secondly is, you don't know who somebody is until some shit goes sideways, and I had guys not answering the phone, avoiding it. Like, I had to take properties back, lawsuits happening. So there's two parts of that. Like, if you're gonna invest and it's not you in control, like, you really need to understand the business and stuff. But like, is the person competent? But in addition to that, like, do they fit into your core values? Because for me, everything's on my core values, personal and business. It's all the same. And if one core value is off, I don't do it, period. Doesn't matter how great it looks. Like, if it's not in alignment 100% with my core values, I'm out. And that's why.
Well, let's talk about that, because because of what happened to me. So that deal in Texas, I was offered to get in on that.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. I like those two people. It wasn't Caleb, it was the other two that were involved.
Yeah.
But I asked them, who's going to be there? And they were like, nah, well, we'll probably fly in. And I was out. I remember when they were telling me, I was out.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm not going to do it. And they're like, yeah, well, I said, that's not, one of you would have to live there.
Yeah.
And like eat, sleep, and breathe this. That's the same thing when we were buying a business with a partner, and he kind of wanted to do other things. We had to kind of pull him back. He's going to be at the dinner tonight. And I said, you got to be 100% focused on this. If you are, you're going to become a multimillionaire with this. Like, but if you try to do 14 other things, I don't want to invest in somebody, but he's doing 9 different things. I don't mean 9 different flips. I mean, like, I want to know he's doing this. And that's what I do. So I care about the operator and then the model. And then I want to see all the ways I can de-risk it.
Yeah.
But I thought about that. I got FOMO on that Texas deal in the beginning. I'm like, man, I should have put $100,000 in there. Like, they're probably going to make 500 off the 100. Yeah. But I saw all these things that could be a problem. And even in Blue Collar Millionaire, people will message me and I'll think, man, I could throw $100,000 in that. That guy will make money. But I think it's like, I'll go back to doing the other thing. I want to keep this like investment thesis of like, I
like
hit all
how
these
conservative
things.
you are. You're
and
I think that's 100% why you've got the money that you do at your age. And I can look at my dad and he's got his stacks as well, but he's also very conservative in that manner. And I'm a little more risky. I'd like to sit at the blackjack table and gamble for big wins. And I noticed that in my business play as well. I'll make some big wins, but I also take some pretty decent losses in the process.
You got to know yourself, because here's something I think people don't think of. So say I got $1 million and I have it at 4.5% in a money market. It's liquid. I can go get it. People are like, what? You're only getting 4.5%? But then they're offering, somebody's on the internet or somebody you kind of met, they're offering 9 or 10%. Mm-hmm. And people in their head think, oh, I'm making 10%. I'll make 100,000 on that million. It's easy money. It's passive. But you're really only making the spread of 9 to 4. So you're making 50,000 on that money. And let's say it's 100,000. You're only making 5,000 extra dollars. But now you do not have that money. It's gone.
It's risky.
There's 3 people right now that have my money and are having trouble getting it back to me. I feel okay about 2 of them, not on 1 of them. And I went against that a little bit. Like, for this little spread, you're doing it. It doesn't make much sense. Like, that's why I'd rather have my money in something very secure, like a money market. And then when I go for the bigger risk, that's businesses.
Big upside.
All this stuff you're talking about, you can get sued, you can get all these. I need big upsides. Yeah. Like our windshield business is going to be a 25x.
Yeah. Every dollar's got a multiplier.
So I don't care about
percentage.
getting 5% more over here.
There's one other thing I want to add to that is the return on capital, and all of that stuff's great too, but the amount of mental bullshit that you got to go through, and the amount of downtime that your energy's off, you're because you're so caught up in being upset about someone not doing the right thing or them fucking up or not answering the phone or not communicating or whatever, like the amount of time and bandwidth for me that takes up, because I'm so frustrated about just like how it's being handled, not only the money itself, but just the way that I feel about the situation, that will cost you more money than the actual money you're losing, because it's downtime. You're not being positive. You're spending your energy, your time, caught up in something negative instead of being outbound, more in alignment and positive.
That's 100%. And one of the things I learned, because I invested some money with Mike, he used it for like a year and gave it back. And the rate was fair, but there was people at that time giving 16% and everything. And I did it with one person and I got it back. But like, it was mental gymnastics with this guy. Like it took like an extra 9 months to get it back. I was getting 16.5%, which is pretty good. It was like on 100 grand. But the difference on what I made, say, doing with you, all I do is text him, and then he was like, yeah, closing's on this day. Oh, closing getting pushed back 2 days. He was being proactive, and then he just sends it back. It's like, it's a no-brainer.
Let's talk, because this is, I borrow a lot of money. Like I borrow a lot of private money from guys, and that's how I do the volume that I do. And people like investing with me, and it's relationship based. But when you're borrowing money, and everyone wants to know, where do you get private money? Where do you get private money? That's the biggest question. How do you fund this? Where do you get all these private investors? And it's like, the shit takes time. You got to go say hi to Gary in the corner of the room and be uncomfortable and shake his hand and say, hi, I'm Mike, what's up? You got to call Gary back on Monday and follow up. I go meet Kevin, and on that deal that we did, like, you have to over communicate. Like, I over communicate like, dude, took a picture yesterday. I wasn't sure if I was going to post it or not, but dude, I'm going to fucking towel out the shower, 40 minutes on the phone with a new investor. And Brendan was there. I was like, snap a picture of this, dude. I'm going to towel right, like jumping out of it, take an investor's call, because we're talking about a potential deal. I want to get him going. And it's like, you have to build the relationships with these people, because they're investing in you. Like, the deal, yeah, but it's you. But on that deal with you, bro, and this has happened with a couple of other guys too, I still have that house right now, bro. But you're like, hey, I want my money out. So I got it to you within like a week or two. Okay, cool. He wants his money out. We didn't sell or anything, but you have to communicate. You got to do what you say you're going to do. And like, you got to get, like, the more comfortable people are with you. If you're a guy that's out there looking at like, how do I raise money? How do I get investors? How do I do that? Like, you have to do what you say you're going to do. You got to be good at what you're doing. But like, this is so important. Like, without that, there's not, like, I got guys, like, I could literally say, hey man, got a deal. Today's Friday. I got a deal Monday. Purchase is $975,000, $150K in rehab. It's worth 1.4 and it's got to close Monday. Text message, and he'll send the wire Monday. I mean, we're going to do paperwork and shit and make sure it's done, but it's like, that's what happens when you build relationships, and it takes time. You're not going to just get straight to it, But for everybody who's listening to this, you have a business, you want to have a business, maybe in your real estate, maybe you're not. But that's probably the biggest question you guys get too, is like, how do I get the money? Yeah. And you get the money by developing who you are and your character and building relationships. Like, everyone's so focused on the thing, and it's like, if you just develop who you are and you show up and you get better and you have integrity and you build relationships and you keep showing up and being in the right room, all of that shit's gonna come when, it'll all come together. So I think people focus on the wrong things.
I agree. Well, and then you just simplify it to stop being scared to talk to someone, because you can be a rock star, but if nobody knows, then you're never going to get the money. But if you'll push, every time when you push yourself out of comfort zone, you find growth every single time.
Dude, and I think God and the universe will reward you for that. I genuinely do in my heart. Agreed. I know that to be true, and I've seen it happen. Well,
let me talk, because I want to talk something about Brendan and him being so young, and then just younger guys. So this is one thing. If so, you guys are listening to this. You've done hundreds of houses. So have you. If I was going to invest in money, and then this person says, "Hey, I'm going to pay a 10% return," to me, if I'm going to get 10% from you, that makes sense. But somebody who's doing his first deal, I have a lot of risk.
Oh yeah.
I think
I'm not doing that for 10%. That person should be be okay with cutting that person in and say, hey, I'd like to have your help in here. I'd love to be able to have your thing. Maybe they work with somebody like Mike and they make less money, but they learn from it. Same thing with Mike and Matt. Our partners didn't bring, they could have brought a little cash. We said, we'll bring all the cash. So we take a little bit more.
And then they earn in.
And they earn in, they'll make more money. And then on the next one, they can choose to do it with us or not. Whereas if Mark had said, hey, I want you guys to get in business, he'd have a different deal because he has a long track record. He's older. But I think that's a mistake because I have young guys who've reached out to me. One guy recently did it. He wanted $300,000. His offer to me was just, I was going to help him and say, bro, nobody's giving you that.
Yeah.
He has no experience. I just said no.
Yeah.
But like, it was like he was coming at me like he had already had massive exits. Like it was Ray. Ray wanted to do it.
Yeah.
This is a buddy of ours had a massive multi-$1 million exit. He's going to do it again. There's no question. He doesn't need us. But he would get a different offer than somebody who's 21 who's going for it. And I think people don't understand it. They see that, oh, people are paying 10%. I should do that. No, you should be giving.
It's earned. I mean, it's earned. And even another thing you're talking about on that percentage too, you know, on real estate, most guys, it's like, oh yeah, I'll lend you the money, pick your percentage, but they're going to give you 85% of the purchase price, 90% of the purchase price, and you got to cover the purchase price plus the rehab, you know? And a lot of people, you know, that's starting. And most, like, if you don't have a private guy, you're talking institutional hard money, you're 2-3 points, monthly payments, appraisals, all this bullshit. And they'll give you 80, maybe 90% of the purchase price. And then you got to come up with the rehab too. Me, I send a text message, I'm getting my shit fully funded, purchase and rehab, no monthly payments, everything on the back end, nobody babysitting me, not asking for updates. And it's because of the relationship, the track record, the, you know, all of that.
If I was to do it again, I bought a house really young, a 2-family, and I made, back then, I think I bought a 99, sold it for 156, put sweat equity in it. I didn't spend a lot of money. That was a big hit back then. There was another one that was almost identical across the street for 103 when mine was already around 140. And I wanted to buy it, but I didn't have the cash and different things. And I was going to do it, and I didn't want the risk. I should have went to somebody who was older, who had money, and said, listen, you put all the cash up. You do everything. I already did it over here. You don't even have to come here. I could have did that and made $40,000, gave him 20. This is a long time ago, so that would have been a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I never thought like that. I thought if I had to do it all. And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. If you don't have it, you should be very generous with that person, because the truth is those young people don't have the ability to repay. You gave me my money back. I didn't know you didn't sell that house till just now. I didn't know that. But he has the ability to give that money back, whereas somebody else, they don't have the ability. So that's another reason they should be cutting that person in, because I can't pay you 20. I can't pay you 10% anyway after a while.
What is it? Hogs get slaughtered, pigs get fat.
And
yeah. One of the most powerful things that, like sayings that I heard, because in real estate, you know, a lot of deals involve wholesale, right? So someone's got a contract locked up to buy a house for $200,000, and then they're going to wholesale or assign the contract to someone else who's actually going to do the deal for $220,000, and they're going to make $20,000 in the middle. Wholesale fee, assignment fee is what people call it. And there's so many times I've seen that the end buyer is mad that the wholesaler's making a spread in the middle. And I heard this saying one time, count your money. Don't count other people's money. Count your money in the deal.
I know.
And that's one of them. And it just stuck with me. And I like to say that a lot too, because people get caught up on that. But it's like, if a deal works for you, at whatever the structure of the terms are, and you're better off like with it than without it, why do you care what the other person or the other people involved is? Like, if it works for you, then why would you not do that, instead of being worried that Kevin wants 40% equity in the deal, or, you know, this guy's making, I remember one time I paid $85,000 on a wholesale fee, and I didn't know till closing. But dude, I made $60,000 on the house.
The deal was good. You
closed the deal. I called the guy. I said, homie, 85 G's. Number one, you're a motherfucker, but two, like, that's dope. I'm stoked for you guys. Bring me the next one.
Yeah.
That's the attitude you should have. Yeah. And by the way, you owe me a steak dinner for sure.
but like in business, you should want to see everybody winning and doing well, otherwise, again, like your energy is off and people are going to feel that. But I think when you like, one night it was late and we were in, where were we? Pennsylvania. We were in a cigar DM group, and there was me and Kevin and Mark Evans and a couple other dudes in there. And Mark was like, dude, I just want to win with winners. And me and him looked at each other and we're like, why have we not just been doing that the whole time? And from there forward, it's like, then it's like, now you're talking about, I only want to deal with winners. It's like the deal that's just a mechanism, man. But it's like, who are we doing it with? Because that's really who you're betting on, who you're going into it with. Like, and if you're winning with winners, like shit goes sideways, you're not going to have some weak link freaking out, bitching out. And, it's like everyone's going to man up and do what they got to do, pick up the phone, and we're going to work this shit out because we're winners and we keep our word. And that's just what it is. And that's how, from now on, like, that's how I operate, dude.
That line was awesome because we looked at it, and we probably all said that a million times now. It's so simple. Yeah. And remember, I told my mom that. I say, I'm winning. He said this, win with winners. She said, that's good because you've been winning with losers for a long time. You should just win with winners.
Well, dude, and here's the other thing though, like, how hard is it to win with fucking losers around?
It's hard. You ever play basketball and you got 4 rubs on your team and you got to go get 40? Dude, he said, stay on
the route. Like, yeah, like
win with good players.
Yeah, really.
And when you're a winner, you attract them anyways.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. Sometimes you want to pull people up. Don't. If they're not invested in themselves, they don't want to do it. I can't do it. We're winning with winners in business right now, both of us. And different ones we're in together, ones we're in separate. Yeah. That's why it's working.
Yeah, man. Like I'm usually mentoring or coaching, a couple people at a time. And, Brandon's like turned into the partner and we're doing what we're doing and saying it. But his cousin is, they're around the same age and he's just got his license and he's in Utah and he's getting in the game and he's been hitting his gym, doing all the stuff, right? Doing all the right things. And I've been watching it. And they were on FaceTime the other day while we were walking a deal, and I was talking to him, and I was like, dude, are you for real about this? Because he was asking questions and sent me a few things. So I was like, all right, dude, I'll meet with you once a week, once every other week. And like, if you want, I'll start coaching you. But like, you better fucking do everything.
And I said, you saw what your cousin's life looks like now. Like, I'll help you get there too. So I sent him some homework yesterday, some stuff. So we'll see what he sends me on Monday. But dude, there's nothing, it's pretty cool to like take what because we've all, like, anyone successful had somebody help them, but it's cool for me. I love seeing like someone that they want to do it. They just don't have the guidance and whatever. And when you coach them and you help them and they start getting success with it, it's fun to see, but it's also, there's a little bit of ego there too. It's like, shit, maybe I do know what I'm talking about a little bit.
Yeah.
Think about everybody. I feel like mostly every successful person I know wants to help other people. And when somebody says, this guy doesn't want to help me, he might not want to help you. Because you might not be doing the work. You might not be approaching him with the same thing. But think of all the people at the dinner tonight, because there's some young guys. Mm-hmm. There's one guy, Tyler. He came to the first one.
Yep.
And he pays. He comes to the dinner. He was kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, and I was giving him effort. And then he's messaging me after the dinner. Hey, man, I know you're busy. I'll pay you for 15. I said, hey, Tyler, you got my cell. You're good for now. You're good now. Yeah. Anytime you want to reach out to me, you got me.
Him and his partner, Jonathan, they're out there
he
gave
me a 45-minute call. But I'm down because he already showed me. So he does he does it.
It's rewarding. It's rewarding on both sides.
Yeah.
And I find that the legitimate successful individuals, the higher up the financial food chain you climb, the more they'll give. They have the time to give. They don't have scarcity in their life. They have an abundance, so they'll give out, but they're not going to give out over and over again if that person is not taking action.
Don't drain them.
When that sits there, when they realize you're just wasting time and not taking action, then I do, because I feel that way. Like if I give you something and we'd sit there and do a 30-minute hour phone call, and then you've got this same exact problem 3-6 months later, and I say, what did you do? And there's no change in action. I'm like, why are we on the phone again?
Well, it's disrespectful to their time too.
Yeah.
But in addition to that is, nobody wants your $15 lunch, no. The worst thing, like, you guys listen to me, please. The worst thing you can do is, can I take you to lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever, and pick your brain? That is the worst thing. It's an automatic no for me. I won't even respond, or for anybody. Don't be a taker. Come from value. Give a compliment. Hey, I read your book. I learned this. Or hey, you said that. It taught me this. Or hey, thank you for doing whatever. Like, give a compliment, build a relationship, show up trying to give value. How can I help you? How whatever. And by the way, like, would you be open to helping me with whatever? But the more you come prepared, and the more that you're coming as a giver, and as not just like, can I pick your brain? Like, it's so disrespectful. Can I pick your brain, bro? Like, you've been in business for 25 years and made millions and millions of dollars and gone through all of this shit. Can I buy you a hamburger and you just tell me everything? Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, people don't think about it. Like, it's so disrespectful.
Yeah,
and it's perspective, and I understand that, but like, be a giver. The more that you want to, if you take that approach with anybody who's successful, you're going to get a positive response every time.
When we were talking about, I get a lot of messages from blue collar guy from in the group, and like somebody like Resto Rob, he says, "Hey man, I've been following your podcast show. I love what you're doing. I'm also from New Jersey." He started saying these things, and I'm like, "Who's this guy?" Yeah. Right? I'm reading his message because I might get 11 of them, and then I know when I'm reading it, I'm going to answer this guy.
Yeah.
Then I start going back and forth with him. Then I ask him to dinner. Then he goes to the dinner, and now he's hooked up with a friend of ours, making a ton of money with him. But then there's other guys that say, "Hey man, I know you're busy, but dump." "Hey man, got a problem, need to pick your brain, dump." And they'll jump like like what do I got? I got to do this? I got a job now? Just ask me one thing. Build a little rapport. Tell me something.
Well, it's in a respect thing too, like, you got to respect the guys that are further down the road than you, or more seasoned than you, or whatever, and so like, I think you come with that approach, it's going to be more received.
It's just funny. I was just going to say, because when I was sitting here before, I saw this one message, "Hey man, my comment, my posts keep getting declined. What's up? What's going on with this? I don't even know this guy." Like, it's a freak fucking group. Yeah. It's not free to us.
Yeah.
We're paying money.
Yeah.
Paying for our podcast right here. It's free. Like, people are so wild.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to stop my day to get your post? There's hundreds of them. But then somebody else approach you in a nice way, and you want to help them. But the thing with mentors is, I got this from my mentor who passed away. One time when he was sick, I was telling him how much I appreciate it. He said, "I got a lot more out of this relationship than you did." And I knew what he meant, but he says, I was like, I was on the other end of my life, and I was like winning with you. It felt good. When you were growing, I was growing. They need something too.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's doing it for free and everything. So don't think mentors, they might not need money. They want to see you doing stuff. You're getting something out of Brent. Like, you're seeing him. Of course, you're making money with him, but you like to see him do well.
Bro, this dude is totally...
I like him a lot. Yeah, I mean...
He's like a young version of me, man, but he's totally changed his entire environment, walked away from everything that he knew, which was all bad relationships. He's fucking jacked right now. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's getting yoked in the gym. He's got he picked up super awesome chick. He'll probably end up marrying her. Business is going good. Like, even the relationships that I see with his family that was kind of, a little rough or what. Like, yeah, dude, I'm literally watching him, and lifestyle's my brand, and what I preach. It's not just it's about the whole lifestyle. And it's been so rewarding and so cool, and so proud of him to see all of that shit happening, And then it's also a testament of, like, if I'm sitting here preaching this stuff to these young cats, well, then I better be doing this shit too, leading the way. And that's why, like, core value number one for me is lead by example, Like, if we're all running businesses or whatever, like, if we're not about it, how are we going to expect the people below us to believe in us and do all the stuff? And the only reason I've been getting through a lot of stuff that I've been through the last few years is because the people around me believe in me. Like, they know I'm showing up, and I'm gonna make it happen. And if I don't, like, I'll go down, swinging. And if you're in a leadership role, man, you can't expect people that everyone's gonna follow from top down. Like, you can see somebody and you'll know what their culture is, what their like, you could just see it all by the way that they carry themselves, hold themselves, conduct themselves. Because especially if you're in a leadership or an ownership role, like, that goes downhill. Culture is more important than anything. Something I learned, but starts with your personal culture.
I agree.
Let's end it on that, because that's
been a good one.
Dead on. It was a great one. I appreciate it. All right, we're gonna hit this dinner. bluecollarmillionaire.net. It's how you see Chris and I on the Blue Collar Millionaire Facebook group. How do they connect with you?
Instagram at michael.burns, BURNZ. I'm on Facebook too, Mr. Michael Burns. But I'll be the guy out there being politically incorrect, talking shit, trying to teach some people some stuff and make it happen.
And you've been to our Destin event, of course, Salt Lake. Today in Atlanta, you'll be at more. Probably be at, now we might be doing some of these UFC dinner events. I'm sure you're going to be doing that because you and I done a couple UFC fights.
Yeah, man. I mean, guys, listen, I can't, I met Kevin at an event in 2020, and we've built a cool relationship. We made money together. I've flown into Atlanta. He's coming at Salt Lake. We've met in Vegas. But your relationships and the rooms that you're in and the environment that you're in is literally going to dictate your entire life. Like it really, truly is. And that's what I would drop it on.